Surprise, surprise, I just updated the VSCode Insiders, and this is a new version from approximately 4 hours ago. And to my surprise, what I find out, that we have a new built-in plan mode. And how do I know that it's a built-in? Because that's a new VSCode Insiders window, and I didn't put any additional chat mode. So how can we see what's happening here? If I click on the manage mods, we can see that there's a new plan mode from an extension. So this is actually, and if I hover, we can see that it's from the GitHub Copilot chat. So we already know which extension gave it. And by the way, this is a maybe still unknown or less known fact, but extensions can contribute chat mods, instructions, prompts, and even MCPs. This is quite a new feature that I think is going to be the basis for the new kind of like Claude or Gemini CLI plugins. So this is a nice way to add them. And if I click on it, so basically we can see that it's being contributed from the VS Code Insiders extension from the GitHub Copilot chat. And it's under Assets, Chat Mods, and this is the plan. Chat mode, there is no secret here. We can read the plan, we can read the prompt. So this is quite nice. We can see the tools that it is using. So there's no magic. We can see actually how the agent is going to be primed with the system instructions. We can even edit the chat mode if we want to fit it. But if I try to press anything, we get a nice, this is a read only. We can unlock it if we click here. I think this is a bit less useful because the extensions are versioned. Even if I'll edit this, the next time that I'll update the GitHub Copilot chat extension, so it will use a different directory and my chat mode won't be exported. Maybe VS Code needs to add a way to extract the chat mode or the prompts or anything outside of the extension if you want to extend it. But in general, distribution of these tools is still problematic, and this is not solving it yet. But let's go back to the plan mode. So the plan mode is a great addition, and now that it is built in, it will really help the developer experience because you won't have to go write your own, maybe copy paste from the internet something, or try to ask from the agent, hey, try to write me a prompt. This is a very useful built-in experience. And as I said, we can actually read the prompt and see what it does. So it has two parts, context gathering and research, and present a concise plan to the user for iteration. It is using a built-in steps, plan research, and plan style guide that tells the agent how to do the styling and present it and to ask questions. For writing plans must be well formatted in GitHub style Markdown. So it even tells you, it even tells the agent how to output the plan. Don't show code blocks, but describe changes. This is nice. Yeah, don't tell it how to do it, but what to do, and it will already know. So even the plan will be outputted like this. I would add extensively use Markdown, Mermaid maybe, but this is me, and I guess this chat mode will probably get a lot of love once it is released officially, and a lot of people will probably try to tweak it and open issues, and hopefully we will see this evolve. One notable thing is the execute prompt. So this is a new tool that was added in the last month, I think. Shout out to Harold from the code team that told me about this. And what this tool basically does, it is like a sub-agent. It defers the part of the prompt that runs with this tool to another agent process. Why is this good? So basically, think about it. This is a way to manage different context windows for specific parts of the task. And this is really good. Think about planning. During the planning, we might have a lot of side stories, side quests of researching the best tool, the best technology, the best task. But eventually, all of it needs to come back to a cohesive, concise plan. And If we are doing the research on the main context window, this might take a lot of the context, right? We will read maybe a lot of files, a lot of turns, maybe MCP tools, and eventually, once the context window ends, so we start getting the dreadful summarization of the agent, and then it starts forgetting, hallucinating. So execute prompt is exactly the tool that comes to solve this. And we can see here that context gathering and research stage mandates the use of execute prompt, meaning that every stage of the planning will be delegated to a sub-agent that will do the specific plan part of that and will only return the gist of it, the conclusions that are needed to create the final plan. So this is being used directly inside the prompt, but you can actually use it inside you can say execute prompt. It's a built-in tool, and it also appears here. You can say execute prompt. You can turn it on, off. So you can use it even outside of the chat mode. The built-in chat mode, you can use it in your own chat mode. You can use it during the chatting from here. And this is a really useful tool. And now it is inside the plan mode, which is a built-in plan mode, which greatly improves the developer experience and in general also the developer experience of how planning is being done, because it is much more efficient. So we talked a lot about this. Let's try to use it. Let's see how it works. So I'll choose the plan mode, and we'll change the model to a bit faster model, because GPT-5 is great, but it's a bit heavy and we don't want to spend too much time on the thinking part. So let's create a to-do app. We need more to-do apps in the world. So plan a to-do app. Let's see how it works. Now, if we want to see what's happening with the agent, so there's a nice show chat debug view, which I really love to use. And basically, what it allows us to see is it allows us to see the agent steps, and we can already see that it is using the execute prompt tool, and we can see the token usage. So we can see that this one is bigger than this one, meaning that we are seeing that there is a separate token usage because there was no summarization in this part. This is a really small usage of the token window. So we can already see this. And by the way, if you click on each part of this, so you can actually see the entire request. This one is the execute prompt, but if we look here, we can see the entire system prompt, assistant, user. Really interesting to take a look here, see how this looks, what happens when we have too many MCP tools, when we have too many instructions. So we can see it here. And we can already see that the planner is presenting a plan with steps and open questions, because this is part of the system instructions of the plan chat mode. So it asks us which platform we want to use. So let's give it a web app with React. What features? Let's see, we want CRUD. Yeah, we want due dates. We want categories for sure. That's enough. And yeah, let's use local storage for now. That sounds good. So let's continue with this and see what happens. Okay. So it keeps on continuing with the plan, and it has additional questions. So this is nice. We can see the repetition of the planning phase, and each time we give it answers, so it can continue, and then it iterates with us a bit more. This is the most important part of our work, right? The planning. If we plan well, so we can execute maybe in a single shot. So, measure twice, cut once. So let's see, UI library. Let's go with Tailwind. This is one that I really like. Of course, TypeScript. Who doesn't like TypeScript? And styling approach for here as well, tailwind. And let's continue. Okay, so we have the revised plan, steps, tech stack, ready to proceed with implementation. So here, I don't know exactly how this will work because I'm in the plan mode. You know what? Let's check it because we have the tools, so we can basically see. Yeah, so we can see in the tools that the tools only allow to read but not to write anything. So I guess that if I'm going to tell it proceed to implementation, so it is going to just suggest it and not write it. Let's check. Let's see if this is correct. Let's tell it to proceed. And okay, so it is using the to-do list. We can also see it here and also here that it is using manage to-do list. I'll now implement the to-do app. Let me start by initializing the project. Perfect, I have the setup instructions, however, I need terminal access. Nice, so we can see that the safeguards are working and it actually doesn't have terminal access enabled, so it provides me with the plan. But at this stage, we will move to the agent mode and tell it to continue. So create all the files once you run the setup, run the setup yourself and continue with next steps. Let's see. Okay, great. So we can see that it is again using the execute prompt. Okay, we are getting an npm create with React.js, and now this will run in the terminal. Let's see, this is nice. I think this is using the background terminal, so I won't see it, but if I really want to see it, I can click here and see the terminal. You know what? I'm not sure I want to see the terminal. Let's give it, let's just give it an OK and let it continue. But I guess you're curious like me, so I will click it. Okay, so we can see it. Use roll down. This is really nice, by the way. You can see that if we are not seeing the terminal, we are still getting the user prompts being translated into the chat, so we can approve them from here. I know that there's also actually an option to auto allow the agent to try to answer some of them, but YOLO mode is dangerous, so be careful with that. Okay. Nice. So we can already see that we are getting a scaffolding of the application. Okay. We'll let it continue. So now it's basically installing the node modules. This takes a bit of time. And so we already have the initialized project, and basically the server is up and running. And at this stage, I'll let it run, and hopefully at the end of it, we'll have a full-blown to-do app application, which, if it looks nice, I might share it with you, because again, who doesn't need to do more to-do apps in the world? Okay. Nice. Okay, so this is maybe a bit of an annoying thing. This is for the VSCode team. We'll wait a bit more because the terminal is being used to set up the server. It gets stuck, and basically the chat is just the agent is just stuck waiting for the prompt for the terminal to finish and go back to the plan, but it will basically be stuck forever, which is a bit annoying. We need some way to solve it. So please, I don't know if you have open issues on this, but this is a bit annoying. Okay, we'll let it run, but I hope you enjoyed seeing this as much as I did. This will be very useful. I think that we can see from other tools that the plan mode is something that users really want and need as part of the built-in developer experience. It might be missing a bit of UI for the user experience, but for me this is perfect because technically we saw it uses a very detailed systematic approach of doing planning. I can use a better model, and then maybe the plan will be much more thorough, although I think the plan is quite good for the purpose of a simple to-do app. We need to see it with the real-world examples from our day-to-day work, and it uses also the execute prompt, which is basically managing the context window in a much better way. So this is what we were able to see here. Let's see if we can see a bit more how it looks with. So let's see. When we started, we had 7,000, almost 8, 8.2, 8.7, 9. Let's see when the execute prompt finished. Okay, so we can see that at different stages, it triggers additional sub-agents, and then the execute prompt token usage goes down. So this shows us that it is actually running separate execute prompts tools, which is really nice because each problem gets its own context window, and only when we get the summary, the response of what we need to do, we get it back to the main agent context window. So we can see that this is really well thought of, and I'm sure that in long-running tasks or in bigger projects, this will be very useful. So all in all, this is an exciting addition, and I hope to see even more development into this. And kudos to the code team, which is getting this out just in time to React Universe in 2 weeks, which I'm going to come visit. So hopefully I'm going to see a few people there. Thank you. Have a great day.